MrBeast is now the most popular YouTuber on the platform. His videos are watched by millions of adoring fans. Not me though, because his videos are made for idiot children. But unfortunately, MrBeast has decided to surround himself with pedophiles, sex offenders, and worst of all, Twitch streamers. January 2023, MrBeast member Chris Tyson announces that he is now a woman.
Fully presenting as a woman.
I did, because I am a woman.
Oh shit!
Ah, she, her.
The question on everybody's lips: why did this man with a wife and child give it all up for a receding hairline and no bitches? There were many theories. Perhaps following his divorce he went insane, and now in a Freudian effort is attempting to transform himself in mind, body and soul to become his wife, assuming the maternal position that was now gone from his post-divorce life. Alternatively, mental illness. There are two types of people in this world: the naive and the noticers. The naive said things like, "I'm so happy Chris is living the best life. You are so beautiful and
I'm being
sexually
serious,
attracted
this
to
isn't a
Chris, and
lie.
someone decides to be true to Finally, Z can be happy in their own skin." And the noticers said things like, "Pedophile, pedophile, pedophile, pedophile." So they started digging into Chris Tyson's past, discovering a terrible secret. Chris Tyson is actually a gooner. Chris had made many tweets in the past bigging up Shadman, who draws pornography of real children. Chris Tyson even made specific requests for Shadman to create art of certain child characters, such as Raftalia from Rising of S.H.I.E.L.D. Hero, Beast Boy from Teen Titans, and Caillou. Motherfucker was jerking off to the pedo-incest Caillou porn. His obsession with Shadman was so massive that he printed off a Shadman picture and hung it on his wall for all to see. He would also mention Shadman to minors in his Discord server. As well as this, Chris Tyson's Reddit comments were all leaked, and it turns out that Chris Tyson actually has a farting ass shitting fetish, which becomes a lot more concerning when you realise that Chris Tyson actually uploaded a video of his 2-year-old son taking a shit in his bath, which was then taken down by TikTok for being inappropriate content. He also, in an attempt to own the trolls, actually went out and bought a pair of perfectly fitting high heels for his 2-year-old son, and then posted a picture of it to Twitter. Like, how am I supposed to take this? This is clearly grooming.
But to me, the backlash honestly made total sense. Look at this tweet right here. This is ironic because I used to go to Jimmy's for internet access. It wasn't the internet or people or anything. It was me seeing the clothes in my sister's closet at 5 and knowing I enjoyed wearing those clothes. Even at the best case scenario, they're using their child as like a prop to funnel the outrage machine, which is just horrifying, right?
Some of this shit was so weird that even resident pedophiles like EDP would come out of the woodwork like, "Chris, buddy, what's going on with these kids, man?" Like,
holy shit, man. So my motherfucking main nigga Chris Tyson supports child porn. We gotta protect our youth. We gotta protect our kids from weird ass freak motherfuckers like this, you feel me? Chris Tyson is a transgender.
Now, despite people like me calling this out for years, a lot of this went under the radar or was flat out ignored and swept up by other YouTubers. People like Ethan is Online or Big Joel, that type of ugly person. People who, despite complaining about a 14-year-old saying the N-word in a private Discord server, are now defending a grown man's right to masturbate to small children, as this is top standard edgy humor. And I feel I have some authority to speak on the topic of edgy humor. There are two types of edgy humor. The first are people who just post be gay, do crimes memes, aka pedophiles. And then the second type are also pedophiles. People like Amos Yee, Shadman, Shane Dawson, Vito. These people's humor is just openly being a pedophile and then getting angry when people don't understand that it was just a joke. But they are actually a pedophile. Now, the other reason why YouTubers sweep so hard for Chris Tyson is clearly because he transitioned into being a woman. There is no fucking way that a normal person would receive this amount of leniency when it came to consuming Shadman CP. That is until it comes out that the transient in question was allegedly grooming a 14-year-old. A guy called Prism made a video showing interactions Chris had with an at the time 14-year-old Discord mod, they get him in young, called Lava. Chris Tyson also invited Lava to meet with him and MrBeast in the woods. In all honesty, this video is pretty shit. It's all recorded outside, so the entire thing is filled with bird and cougar noises. And this guy got all of his information by offering the victim a job interview where he had to describe his molestation for the job. I don't want to think about what the job actually was. Like, did he even get it in the end? Imagine going to a job interview and the guy's just sat there looking all solemn and he just pulls out a child-sized dummy, puts it on his lap. If you could relive this situation, what would you have done differently? He also then sent off the information to Chris Chan for his expert analysis. He was interviewing Chris for a different job. If you could go back and rape your mother again, What would you do differently? The groomed child in question then made a public statement saying that Chris Tyson hadn't done anything wrong, yada yada yada. Nobody actually cared. Everybody just sort of said, "You got groomed, idiot!" Except for Reddit, who actually said, No, it's cool. It's all good. A sentiment that didn't age well at fucking all. So after the news comes out, everybody turns against Chris Tyson, even the trans community, in an absolutely unprecedented turn of events. Technically, disavowed Chris Tyson. Everyone except Trey Yates, for you see, Trey Yates knows Lava, the 14-year-old, and Trey Yates knows Chris Tyson. And he was there when Chris Tyson met up with the 13-year-old in the woods. He was there, this guy. Really puts my mind at ease. You can't trust the allegations, you see, because Prism is Republican, and he also collaborated with EDP. The problems of EDP, according to this guy, being that he is a conservative anti-transer, and not the fact that he is a known child sex offender.
He collabed with this creator named EDP. Apparently, this guy is a conservative whistleblower and is also against trans people.
He then proceeds to accidentally leak his Pornhub history on an edited video, so realistically, this is Chris Tyson's top guy. Straight after this, much to the chagrin of Trey Yates, Ethan is Online, Big Joel, and the rest of the pedophile community, it turned out that Chris Tyson had been messaging other minors over Snapchat. Now, admittedly, nothing in these DMs is explicitly sexual, as in, suck my dick, lick my massive pussy, that kind of thing. But there's a lot of weird shit, like Chris Tyson keeps calling these young boys daddy. The message, "Let's keep it a secret," comes up. Probably the biggest thing you should literally never say to a child is, "Let's keep it a secret," followed by the simple one-word statement, anal. It turns out Chris Tyson wasn't just raping children, he was also raping adults. This person, Muskina, wrote a whole fucking novel about this, but don't you worry, I'm gonna sum it up right now. So this guy sucked off Chris Tyson for a secretary position, at which point he thinks, how far can I go here? And then he gets nowhere, and is now crying rape after they couldn't suck their way to the top.
The first night at her house, she told me to set up in her bedroom as I would be sleeping in there with her. I thought that this was potentially the beginning of a relationship. When we went to bed together that night, we ended up cuddling and kissing, which led to her taking her clothes off and asking for oral sex from me. I went down on her expecting to engage in sex that would be reciprocated, but when I was done she made it clear that she did not want to return any sexual favors to me. I was hoping that would not be the case the next time we hooked up, and I believed we would be moving to something more mutual over the course of the next week. Ava engaged me sexually and ended up receiving oral pleasure several times, but she never reciprocated any sexual favors in return when I was done. I was too scared to directly ask for anything in return, and she took advantage of that.
That's not a crime, that's just gay sex. Not crime. But I wish it was. Hey, you wanted a better career, maybe that ass play should have been on the table. You think Carl Jacobs got where he is by just sucking dick? No! He was getting fucked! In the words of a famous Eastern proverb, in the world of male prostitution, the ass is never off limits. Dude, you were sucking dick for a secretary position. You know what I mean? You were sucking dick for $20K a year. For a secretary position, it's like a kiss and the promise of something more. Alright, and then for social media manager, it's like a nude, and then you only start sucking dick when you're like director of communications for the entire company. You know, a real woman would know that. You were sucking off the horniest dude on the planet for a government salary. After Mutahar created his Keffals video, he received a DM from Chris Tyson afterwards.
So glad you said there's legit info on Kiwi. Legit being people telling people to come to my house and kill me. That website is the reason my child has had a gun pointed at him by cops. They renamed my family's business on Google, harassed and doxed my family members to the point where they don't talk to me anymore, and are the reason I had to move. So thank you for sending more eyes to the bottom of the barrel of the internet, where transphobia is encouraged by the creator, who enjoys and has encouraged doxes of me because they think I'm a Jew being paid by Disney to transition.
Someone who claims to be Chris Tyson's sister came out and publicly said that the reason she doesn't talk to Chris is because she caught him getting aroused after stealing and wearing her clothes. The account also has messages going back as far as 2018, strengthening the connection. Chris Tyson's mother has also posted the profile picture on Facebook once, so it's probably his sister. Chris Tyson was also so horny that he couldn't even wait until marriage for sex, even after he and his wife got engaged. So he started cheating on his wife to instead get blasted up the ass by big black gay men.
A lot of speculation that's kind of been confirmed about Chris, like, sleeping with other men. At the time, I didn't really, like, believe that, but I definitely was getting some hints. I don't know I don't think they were married at the time. I don't know. Maybe they were engaged. We were all feeling really bad for her and knowing that that wasn't gonna last, basically.
So to be clear, he was talking about sleeping with other men as they were engaged before they got married?
Yeah, not directly to me. I mean, he would make jokes about it to me, but there were other people who kind of came forward / showed us messages of him talking about sleeping with other men.
So he was cheating on his fiancée before
Correct.
They got married. Okay.
Yeah.
It's still unclear if his ex-wife was aware of Chris Tyson's faggotry. As the final nail in the coffin, Chris Tyson had a private Discord server where he discussed sexual topics and shared pornography.
Buzzes your necky wacky. Robo eyes. Fight me. Love you guys. Chris. Nuzzles P. What the hell? What's this? Thanks, Dad, at Ryan. Notices bulb. Unzips dick.
This is their plan, people. These are demons.
Not only was there no age limit, but a lot of the moderators of the server were also minors. Some points of interest being Chris Tyson linked Shadman's website multiple times, had an actual minor create the NSFW segment of the Discord, and expressed dissatisfaction at the suggestion of making the segment 18+, as this would be too much work to ensure minors can't access the hardcore porn zone. Basically, all of this stems from Chris Tyson being a porn addict, hardcore gooner, and I believe that Chris Tyson transitioned due to being involved in the gooning community. Now, let me walk you through this. Here is a picture of Chris Tyson. This person here is Finster, who does gay porn. Finster was also groomed into being a transgender by some rich Indian doctor or something. They may or may not have met up for sex. You know, it's a long story. We're not getting into it. This is Gene Hollywood, a transgender porn star who is in league with Goon Clown. Now, Goon Clown is a notorious pedophile and groomer who uses EPI, also known as early porn induction, to groom children from an early age. The final stage of this grooming is getting children to start injecting estrogen, which these dudes really get off on. Chris Tyson also mentions forced feminization to minors in his Discord server, which is exactly what Goon Clown does. Technically speaking, he also forcefully feminized his own son by buying perfectly fitting high heels. Was he jerking off to this picture of his son? I'm not going to explicitly say that it's true, but I'm going to act as if it is. Chris Tyson's Steam account is called Estrogen Dealer. He also has a private Twitter account called Estrogen Consumer. He's also publicly promoted DIY HRT to children before through his Twitter account, so pretty much just normal trans stuff. He also has a second private Twitter account where he releases sexual images of himself to select members of his fan base. Now, I managed to infiltrate a gooning circle on reddit.com called r/Chris Tyson Love. It's now been deleted, but most of these servers' posts are people asking to go into Discord calls so they can masturbate together over pictures of Chris Tyson. Real character building stuff. Look at that. Beautiful stuff. Classy. Elegant. Slipping. Oh wow, now that is something. She's really pulled someone off here, because she's absolutely stunning woman on that one. Oh, mama! She was turning heads on that beach for one reason or another. Maybe it was the smell. I mean, all I really have to say about this is the drugs, they're wearing off. Chris Tyson, the drugs, they're wearing off, and to be honest, I'm not even sure they were ever on. Looking at some of these pictures, if you buy one of these shirts, that is helping me become president of the United States of America, this great country. Buy your shirts, bungiebigstore.myshopify.com. Get your shirts right now. They're so cheap. You know, these shirts, they're so cheap that they don't even go on sale because they can't go on sale, because they're always on sale, not in an official sense. But just because they're so cheap, it's like they're always on sale. You go to other people's shirts, Ethan Klein, he will sell a shirt for $2,000. Unoriginal, lame design, this is disgusting, I hate you. Look at my shirts. So much better, just so good. Comparatively, so good. Buy the shirts, BungieBigStore.com. You can buy them right now. As soon as all of this stuff came out, people started to ask the important questions. Did MrBeast know about this? Now let's go through all of MrBeast's responses. Firstly, he made a public statement which was almost certainly created by an AI algorithm, or alternatively, a Jewish legal team. In the statement, he claims that he's firing Chris Tyson based on things he's seen on the internet, and now he's hiring a private investigator to investigate these claims further. Now, personally speaking, I don't understand the point of hiring an investigator to investigate the actions of someone you've already fired from your company. Usually in these situations, they put the person on leave, they have the investigator come in to determine whether they should fire them or keep them on. This happened with Mizkif, for example, and it happened with the Yogscast a couple of years back when they had pedophiles in their midst. So the way I look at this is that MrBeast is hiring an investigator to essentially scrub his involvement from any of these events. This theory already holds some amount of water, because after all of the allegations about Chris Tyson came out, clips of Tyson are now being removed from videos. For example, a clip of MrBeast literally directly staring at the Shadman art has been cut, as well as a bunch of scenes of Chris in the I Survived 100 Days in Prison video. It didn't cut clips of the other pedophile he had working for him, though.
Delaware! Yes. I need everyone's phones. I want them all to FaceTime their family.
Gonna have to go back in there, mate. Make some more fucking deep cuts. Look who else appears in this video, by the way. This goes all the way to the fucking top. MrBeast also appeared on the Hot Wet Soup podcast, in which he made sexual comments about a 14-year-old bad baby.
And he did say that he enjoys the Catch Me Outside girl and thinks she's funny, so let's just...
So that just shows what...
Let's be real, you want to put your dick in her?
This was later explained to be a joke. However, Tyson has made similar sexual comments about a 14-year-old in the Discord server, which would line up with Bad Baby. Now, if this was a joke, my theory is that it was an inside joke that was initially coming from the Discord server, which means MrBeast had more of an involvement with the Discord server than is led to believe. And we know for a fact that MrBeast was in the server because he left messages, which are proven to be from his account, where he talks about Chris Tyson's dick and balls, because he's very well acquainted, I suppose. Even more information from the MrBeast extended pedoverse. He also employed a convicted child rapist nicknamed Delaware, who appears in multiple videos and was also Jake the Viking's brother-in-law. Jimmy knew. No accountability. None. The silence is deafening. It just keeps getting worse. Here's the truth. Yes, Delaware, my brother who works for MrBeast, is in fact a registered child sex offender. You know, I would be fucking furious if I was MrBeast, the most popular YouTuber, billionaire, right? And my entire livelihood is being brought down by the biggest fucking retards. Like, every single person from his company coming out about him is mentally disabled. The man just wanted to give back to the Down syndrome community, and look where that got him. According to another former employee of MrBeast and Chris Tyson used to make pedophilic sexual comments about raping a manager's 5-year-old son, which went so far that the guy attacked someone at the company over it.
The first manager that ever worked there, his name was Dan, and he was actually a really good guy, but everyone was consistently making these jokes wildly inappropriate about his, like, 5-year-old kid.
Ew.
And so,
Whoa.
I know.
Like what?
And so, like, gonna go home and fuck insert name. Like,
what?
The craziest thing.
Who was saying that?
I know. Well, Ava, Jimmy, it was like the thing. It was like funny edgelord kids, which is crazy. We were filming the video playing Fortnite in the middle of the ocean, and one too many jokes got said, and bro flipped. And he took a cameraman and he threw him into the water.
Then MrBeast fired this guy and brought on a convicted child rapist to replace him. MrBeast's like, we're gonna have to let you go. We need more like-minded individuals in our team. I think it's fair to say that everyone who works with or around MrBeast is what I would describe as a sort of malignant psycho-terrorist. MrBeast just waits outside of prisons, scoping for new employees. Each team has like a different mascot sex offender. MrBeast and Lava and all the others, they've got like Chris Tyson as their guy, and then Jake, Lucky, and Nathan, they've got Delaware as their child rapist they're going to bat for. Is there a world where you can just disavow all the child rapists, or what? At this point, we should just put all of them in a sealed room and then just set it on fire. Shortly after the Chris Tyson allegations came out, a YouTuber called Dogpack404 releases a video video in which he claims that he used to work for MrBeast and then proceeds to expose various dark secrets about the MrBeast organization. The most serious claims are that MrBeast runs various illegal lotteries and/or promotes gambling to fetuses. Basically, when MrBeast sells merch, he will randomly include prizes in an order, except then he'll just sort of like not include it. In a now deleted live stream, MrBeast keeps creating impromptu lotteries in which he'll set the rules to be like, you know, whoever orders the next 5 minutes can win a PS5, but no games ever. And then 7 minutes on, he'll just pick someone at random from whoever ordered in the last 30 seconds. Meaning that for 5 minutes, he's had people buying merch for a prize they'll never win. On top of this, he like ran a full-on gambling campaign for his chocolate, in which the prize was that whoever won got to appear in a MrBeast challenge video to win a larger prize of $1 million. But the real challenge was to avoid being molested by Chris Tyson, Delaware, Jimmy Savile, Count Dracula, Jeffrey Epstein, Jared from Subway. MrBeast is putting together like the pedophile Avengers. 100 children versus 100 sex offenders. The sex offenders win if they can molest every one of these children in 50 days. But if one child remains unmolested, they lose and get sent back to prison. Imagine if MrBeast rigged the 100 children versus 100 sex offenders challenge. Oh man, he's given the pedos like military grade rape equipment. You know the scene from Starter Planet of the Apes? That's what the MrBeast office is like, except they're riding into a school district on horseback to capture kids. Now the second video features this guy called Jake Weddle, and I want everyone to have an open mind. Yes, he rocks a mullet. Yes, he rocks a mustache. But sometimes looks can be deceiving.
Swear to God, I was in my room dancing like baby Drizzy, baby Drizzy.
Okay, the looks were not deceiving. Basically, this guy was placed into the Russian sleep experiment by MrBeast. Admittedly, he strikes me as the type of person who massively over-exaggerates everything, but we're not going to get into who tortured who, or who, you know, might have deserved it.
100,000 some change, you know, give or take. And now, I spent all that money on doing stand-up.
How did you, were you paying them to laugh?
And they always cut me out of the videos. They always, and I was, you know, editors have told me that it's because you have too much of a personality.
I think that when they told you that they kicked you because you had too much personality, that was sort of like a nice way of saying that you are insufferable.
I want to talk about this. This was given to me by a really good friend of mine, like a lifelong friend of mine. And you can see on the date that it says 2020 because that's when I was officially no longer an employee. And he got me that because I was supposed to start my own thing. I was supposed to go ahead and do my own stuff. So when he gave it to me, he said, "This isn't a gift. This is not a gift. It's an investment." I said, "Then why is it wrapped like that, silly goose?" You can look back at my old videos, and it was up, and I haven't had it up in a while, but it's up now.
What is wrong with this guy? What the fuck is going on with you, man? This guy strikes me as someone who hurts his girlfriend. The rest of the video is him talking about his dad raping him or something. I don't know. Nobody cares. In the video after this, he complains about people thinking he's a fucking boring fuck, and then does a Mama Max call to action specifically for Vorsh to disavow MrBeast's pedophiles. It's certainly an interesting strategy. He then asks Ethan Klein to buy him lawyers. Look, I don't know much about this guy. I've only seen one video and an interview, and yet I know enough to safely say that I hate him, actually. I've hated MrBeast for years, because unlike other YouTubers, I understand what MrBeast is. Allow me to explain a simple concept for you. We live in what I've called the slop age. Essentially, there is a concept in which a form of media goes from niche interest to mainstream phenomenon, at which point all individuality and artistry is stripped away and it becomes a vehicle designed purely for profit. You've seen this happen with movies and video games and franchises like Marvel, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, anything Disney owns, really. MrBeast is the YouTube slop nexus point, in which some type of shadow organization has figured out how to create the ultimate YouTube corporate brand, and they have succeeded with MrBeast. Even people like Pokimane and Ludwig, who are clearly corporate whores, still have some glimmer of personality or individuality, no matter how dull and stupid they may be. But MrBeast is actually like a full-on android. He's not even human. He's an animatronic, with another man's skin stretched over the machinery. He could very well be entirely CGI. I bring this up a lot, but back in 2017, YouTubers were complaining about fake content taking over, and now they got nothing to say, even though the #1 YouTuber is a literal corporate android. Also, all his friends are pedophiles.